Coach, can you hear us?
Yeah.
What up, man?
What's up?
How you doing?
Good.
Back. Oh yeah.
Still
All
got your
right.
head on the wrong way.
I mean, it's Big 12. I can't go. Can't ride with the Big 12
It's
anymore.
JUCO, baby. There ain't can't put no Big 12 hat on.
Exactly. Hey, just send me one of those Blinn buck hats, and I'll rock it.
Yeah, I know you like that. I know
Yeah.
I know you eyeing it.
Oh, I know. But joining us now, obviously, is the current head coach at Blinn Junior College, one of the top 5 teams currently in the nation in the JUCO ranks. Is the very own Dusty Hart, my past coach over at Grayson Junior College. He was over at Grayson for 16 years, I think, as a head coach. Does that
Something
sound
like
about
that.
right?
16, 17. They started running together after a while.
No doubt. But how are we doing, man? How's the season going so far?
It's gone all right. I mean, we probably hadn't played as good as we would have liked to play every game, but this kind of early season stuff. We hit good one game, then we don't pitch, and the next game we pitch and don't hit. And
Oh yeah,
we weather of all things has really been
I
hurting us.
saw that.
Yeah, I feel like we play and then don't step on a field for 5 days and then try to play again, which isn't real conducive for baseball.
No, not at all. Not at all. Well, kind of get it started off. This is our first coaches segment. We do a players one every week. We've had some past guys on, but you're our first coach coming on. But kind of what inspired you to get into the coaching world and kind of that move from being at Grayson so long over to Blinn?
I think more than anything, I just love baseball. I mean, once I kind of got done playing and I played 2 years junior college and 2 years D1 and tried to play a year pro ball is kind of more like watching than playing. But it was kind of either get out or stay in somehow, just find a way to stay in. And so for me, college made sense. I didn't want to I like the idea of being able to pick my own players and not kind of being stuck with what you get. And I really wasn't too interested in the select ball world. Of course, back then it wasn't nearly
Oh,
what it is
yeah.
today, right? So it was really a smaller world, and but it's been good. I mean, it's hard to get your foot in the door, but it's one of those things you struggle for the first 4 or 5 years, kind of putting food on the table, but
Yeah.
once you get that first job, first full-time paying gig, it's pretty hard to find a better job than I got, I think.
No doubt.
For sure, for sure. Reflecting on your journey as a head coach, which, like you mentioned, you've been doing it for a while, which is great. But what are some of the most significant lessons you've learned along the way?
Well, I would say humility is probably the biggest one. I mean, you get humbled a lot in this game, and we've had a lot of really good teams that didn't succeed as well as we thought they would, and so um I think you got to learn from your losses, probably learn from your losses more than you do your wins. And I think you learn that relationships are way more important than winning and losing baseball games. I mean, I think when I first started, I just wanted to win at all costs, and it honestly, it didn't really matter to me anything else. We would do whatever we had to do to win baseball games. And I think with just experience and years, it's kind of like, man, that stuff's pretty secondary when you start talking about growing young men and leading young men and hopefully good people. I mean, that at the end of the day, that's what really matters. And now after 20 years, I'm starting to see some of my players' kids come through, which is crazy to me, because I still feel like I'm 30. But that's pretty cool. Just seeing guys growing to fathers and having kids and families, and uh, so that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. We got Coach Dusty Hart of Blinn Buccaneers here, a head baseball coach. As a head coach, what do you consider the most important qualities or skills a player can possess to be successful?
I think the biggest thing you got to have is love of playing baseball. You know, um, you can't force that. That's not something you can really, teach. I think that starts from the very first T-ball game. And I think that's probably the biggest mistake that most parents and a lot of kids make nowadays. Like when you get to our level, it's not necessarily a game anymore. Like you're fighting for your life out there. You're fighting for playing time. And when you look around and there's good players everywhere, there has to be some way to separate yourself. And a lot of times, it's, do you love to play? Do you love to practice? I think everybody loves to play in games, but do you like those 3 or 4 hour long practices every single day, even sometimes Saturday and Sunday? And that to me, I've said forever, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like if Mike Trout was standing right here, right now, and you asked him if he wanted to go fishing or go play golf or go take BP, I feel like he would say, I want to go hit. And
100%.
so that could be, that's total speculation, but yeah, there's a reason those guys always have a smile on their face when they're playing the game.
For sure. That's how it was all 3 years there. So, we know all about that. That's for sure. But kind of looking at this season, the team you got now, obviously very successful run last year, first year at Blinn, going all the way down to semis. Is that?
Yeah, semifinal.
Semis, yes. Yeah. And just making that run first time and for Blinn to make that in a long time. What do you kind of consider the strengths of the team this year? You kind of mentioned getting off to a little rocky start here and there, and then also going into a massive series this weekend against the very own McLennan, another highly ranked team.
Yeah. The obvious strength is just we're old. We got a lot of sophomores. We only lost about three starters from last year's club, which really is a whole new set of challenges. I think last year we were kind of like, let's prove it to the world. We really had a chip on our, and guys, it was kind of easy to motivate them a little bit because everybody was kind of looking past us and we were the underdog. And this year it's literally flipped the script on its head. Like, every game we've lost so far, the other teams almost acted like it was a walk-off win or something. They're jumping up and down and going crazy.
That's what happens when you're at the top.
Yeah, it's part of it, but I think it's something that this team, because every team is different, it's something that's kind of new for them. You got to be hooked up every single pitch, which you should be anyway, but it goes to a whole new level when you're ranked first, second, third, fourth in the country, kind of like we were. And the pitching staff is all new, so that's kind of what we've been trying to figure out here early, is just what roles, who needs to start, and who has the makeup to come out of the bullpen. And the high school games where you play 7 innings and the starter goes 7, you don't have to make those decisions, who can come in and get the last 6 outs a lot of times. So that's really where you see the difference at this level. Most games are won or lost in the 7th, 8th, or 9th inning.
Yeah. And you mentioned, the season getting started, and looking ahead at the conference games starting in a few weeks, what are some aspirations and goals for your team this upcoming season, and what are the steps you think are necessary to achieve them?
Well, we want to win the conference. That's huge in this
Yeah.
in this Region 14 South and Region 14 East. If you win the conference, you get to host the regional. And then if you win the regional, you get to host the super regional, the higher seed. So if the 2 seeds match, you go to a neutral site. So to be able to play at home in front of our home fans, that's what makes Blinn special to me, is just the town of Brenham. They're kind of the self-proclaimed baseball capital of Texas. And there's a lot of truth to that. They love baseball down here. Bluebell and baseball. There's literally nothing
There
else,
you go.
right? So I think to do that, you just have to play good baseball every single day. that's the whole key. It's easy to kind of play good when there's a lot of scouts in the stands and a lot of D1 coaches there to watch you play. It's not so easy when you're on the road in those 16 inning, 115-degree heat, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and there's 5 people in the stands. Like,
Yeah.
can you be good on those days? The team that can do that is usually the team that's going to end up winning the conference at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, we got head coach of Blinn, Dusty Hart. Sorry about that. Can you share any memorable moments or highlights from your coaching career that have had like a lasting impact on you?
I mean, obviously winning the national championship in 2008 was probably the top of that mountain. It's a pretty neat experience still to this day. I mean, I was talking to some guys off that team the other day that, we were talking about just the things that happen on the bus, just little insignificant things at the time that it ends up being the most impactful. Just like the songs they were playing, just stuff like that guys still remember almost 20 years later, and so that was by far the biggest moment of my career. As a player, winning the state championship in high school, when I was at Lubbock, Monterey, we won the 5A. Of course, back then, 5A was the highest level. So I was pretty lucky. I mean, I got to play for Coach Bobby Magel, who was the all-time winningest high school baseball coach in the country when he retired. I went straight from him to playing for Tim Tadlock, at the time was the head coach at Grayson, who's now the head coach at Texas Tech. And so I had some really good mentors to look up to that really taught me the game. So I owe a lot to those two guys. I mean, I think I still do things every day in practice that I was doing in 1994 in high school baseball.
Yeah, for sure. As a coach, how do you handle getting family time? Because during the season, you're with, what's called the second family, So how do you separate the two and how do you balance out the two?
I've got a really special wife. I can tell you that. She puts up with a lot. She's a single mom for basically 4 or 5 months.
Yeah,
It does take a toll. I mean, that's probably the hard part. I think that's the sacrifice you have to decide if you want to coach in college. Um, you know, I've missed a lot of my own kids' high school baseball games and
yeah,
volleyball games. My daughter's a volleyball player, and we had a little surprise 6 years ago. So we got a little 6-year-old girl that I'm missing a lot of her growing up right now. So it's definitely a juggle, and that's probably the hardest part about being a college baseball coach. But I love what I do, and they love me. I love them, obviously. So you just make those sacrifices and you do the best you can. But I want them to see us have success so they know that what we're doing every day and the time we miss with them is not just being wasted.
Yeah, for sure. Man, well, real quick for this next question. He mentioned his son, by the way. Guys, stud. Just so y'all know. He's a young dude. He used to come out and practice with us all the time. He's definitely he's already bigger than his dad. He can definitely take him down 100%. But yeah, he'll be a player, that's for sure. Well, kind of final question before we let you get out of here. And I know y'all go to McLennan tomorrow.
Yeah, to McLennan tomorrow. I think it's a 2 o'clock start tomorrow, and then we actually moved Saturday to Sunday. So we're playing at 1 o'clock in Brenham on Sunday just because of the rain forecast on Saturday. So
there you go. Well, final question. I noticed next weekend we got to talk about it because it didn't happen last year. You got the first time since your departure, you're playing the home team, the alma mater, Grayson, right? In Brenham, though. So you're not making the home return yet. But what is that kind of just going to be like? You think the emotions will be running high, and then are you ready to kick that ass or what?
you know what? Honestly, I don't even think about it. I mean, it was just time for me to do something else. 20 years at one place is a long time. I love my time there. Obviously, I love all you guys, everybody that played for me there. I've got nothing but great memories at Grayson. We won a lot of baseball games. So, I think with that was my first and only job. That's what's crazy. I don't know that a lot of people know that. Like I was 21 years old and I was Tim's assistant when I first started, and I spent 4 years as his assistant and then 16, 17 years as the head coach. So I was going on, if you count the 2 years I played, I mean, we're talking 23 years. And I was almost just ready to try something else. I mean, I don't know if it's that easy, but I am kind of looking forward to playing them. I think Coach Cal Hernandez, the new guy they hired, he's going to be a really good coach. I think he's doing a good job, and they're not in our region, so I don't really care what they do. We don't have to beat them. So if we got to beat them in the World Series, then so be it,
There you go.
but yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be weird probably seeing the name across
Oh,
in the other
yeah.
dugout, but I'm
Bing.
kind of looking forward to it.
Bing's still there, right?
Yeah. Old Bean.
Old Bing, old tie. But man, we appreciate you coming on with us and being our first coach segment. Good luck. Obviously, this weekend, big matchup, and then the rest of the season we'll be following along. Go get a natty again.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks,
Sure.
Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.
Thank
You too.